Hi guys, Shelly Fitzgerald here with So Shelly Quilts. So I talked the lovely Quilting Bee dealership into letting me come over and borrow some of their sergers to start a series of serger videos for you. So I'm in their classroom and I brought the great Sandra Swick from Galloping Horse Sewing to be my camera gal, so that I can thread this for you and then show you some different feet. So there'll be a series of videos. Please be sure and watch all of them. And we're going to get started. I'm going to hand this off to Sandra. Now you're going to notice that I brought 4 colors of thread, and that's going to match the color coding on the machine itself. And it's a really good idea when you set yourself up for any brand new project and new threads to do those color threads, because then you'll be able to see your tensioning and you'll be able to see which thread is behaving the way you do or don't want it to behave. So we're going to start up here. Now my presser foot is up. Make sure that that is up because that releases and opens all of the tension. So I'm going to grab the first color. Now this on the L450, L460, and any other older serger that you have, you always thread this first. This is your upper looper, and this one goes first. And so I'm going to put it in that pre-tensioner, they call it, and that just slipped in right to left. Then I'm going to bring it down, and because the foot's up, it'll just lay into the tension. There's a dot showing me where that thread path is. There's dots here. So I'll put it from the bottom to the top. And then there's a little blue piece here. So I'm going to just put it around, and it slips in. You don't have to thread that through. Then I'm going to adjust this. And there's a little line in the window here that'll make it to where it's at the perfect spot for threading. See where that red came up in the window? So that tells me that these are height adjusted well. I'm going to take my tweezers, find the end of this thread to run it through. Now at this point, I personally put my foot down, but then I remember to pick my foot up again. Oops, I need to clip and get a nice sharp thread. Okay, so now that's clean and pointy, and I can go through and use the tweezers, pick it up on the back side. I will lift my foot up again and grab that, pull it to the back, and it's under the foot and to the right. Oops, I mean to the left. Now we're going to do our second. This is our lower looper. And so I'm going to grab the thread through the thread path into the pre-tensioner. Look on your machine, there'll be some sort of a pre-tensioner. I'm kind of holding this thread still with my left hand. I drop it into the tension, follow that path, 2 red dots. So they're the same as the blue dots. And then here is where we're going to get it into that lower looper, but we don't have to reach through. We used to have to pass the thread through, but instead there's a little tricky lever. So I'm going to loop it right there. Then I like to grab my tweezers and put it through that loop. Can you see that right there? And what that does, when I put this back up, you don't have to put it back up, but now you'll see it pulled that thread to the back so that it's laying out across this lower looper. So it's a nice little mechanism there that used to be difficult and now is simple. Years ago, I don't know how long ago it was difficult, and difficult, not impossible. So if you have a machine that you have to pass that back and forth, it's not impossible. It's just really nice, these newer machines, that you don't have to. Now I'm on camera aiming at a hole I can't see in all this light. There we go, I got it in. Now this is a big deal, guys. Watch. This red goes over the top of that blue. And that right there, in a nutshell, is why you always thread the upper looper before the lower looper. It's like tying your shoe. If you get those two out of order, you will not form a stitch. That's also why if you break a thread, you have to count backwards and rethread upper looper, lower looper, right needle, left. Oops, I pointed backwards, right needle, left, because they have to go in the correct order. So now we're going to do our needle threads. So since I'm using both needles, I have both threads. If pre-tensioner again, thread tension. If for some reason I was using only one needle or the other, I would remove the needle I wasn't using. So I come under and I'm going to come up to the left side of this thread bar right here. And I'm doing the green color, so I'm going to use this lower path. All Berninas have excellent pathing with colorways. When I get in here, there is a little bitty guide right up inside. And then I'm going to come over to the right and let it go behind this hook. And that's holding it in the correct position. Now this one for sure I'm going to trim. And then I will lower my presser foot. And you guys have already seen this trick, but it's a good one. This is how I thread all needles. I put something white behind the eye, and then I can see to put that thread in. Okay, so there we go. It went in this time. So I was able to see by holding that white card, and I will put the foot back up so that I don't forget, and I'm going to put it to the right, underneath, and behind. So now I have 3 of my 4 threads back here. I just have 1 to go. And same thing. Presser foot's up, pre-tension, regular tension, hook to the left of this, and then over the yellow color into the thread guide that's up here, and then into the thread guide that's right there. So this time I'm going to use the needle threader. I'm going to put my foot down, and instead of using that card, I'm going to use the needle threader. So here we go. I'm going to put it across so that it's flat. See, there's a little bar in there. So I'm going to put that across, and then when you run that down the needle, it'll just poke it into the eye. And then you can use this loop if you want to get it off of the back side, or your fingers or tweezers, and it just puts it in there. We'll do another video just on that needle threader because it's cool. It's my favorite one. So either way, you can hold a white card or you can use the needle threader. And now we are threaded. So now what I want you to notice is these 2 needle threads are just coming off of the needle and free flowing under the foot. As soon as I take my very first stitch, those 2 needle threads are going to be looped around the lower needle bar, the lower looper. So if either thread or the lower thread breaks, I have to make sure and take the thread out of the eye of the needles to rethread my lower looper bar, or they will not be on top of each other in the correct order. So whenever a thread breaks, you have to back up and thread upper looper, lower looper, right needle, left needle. And by rethreading, it's legitimate to just cut the thread and take it out of the eye of the needle. You don't have to start clear at the top. So here we go. I can't sew until I shut the door. And I'll put the foot down and we should get a chain. Oh, these are nice and quiet. And so you can see that we've got a beautiful chain here. And we're ready to set to sew. That's all there is to threading a Bernina serger. This is Shelley Fitzgerald with Sew Shelley Quilts. Bye for now.